Yo, what's up, what's up? You know, it's your boy, Kim. And today we're dropping like it's hot. I've got one of my guys here. We're going to be talking about finance. Basically, the topic for today is the relationship we have with finance. It's going to be a deep one. We're going to learn today. But before we go on, let me drop the intro. Hey, what's up? What's up? Welcome back, man. So I'm about to introduce my homie. We go a long way, man.
Yeah.
Jakes, welcome to Fanboy Talk, my guy.
How are you, man?
I appreciate you, my guy. Thanks for coming through.
Lovely to be here, man. Only a pleasure.
Yeah, that's cool. Tell me more about what you do.
Yeah, man. So, Raymond, I've been in financial services for 10 years now.
Sheesh.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I've been doing financial planning for most of it. So about 8 years, I've been doing financial planning, educating people about finances. But now I'm more specializing. So I specialize in a particular area in financial planning, which is retirement.
Okay.
But broadly, I do financial education for the company I work for.
Okay.
And I give people financial advice and assist people with making better financial decisions.
Wow. Okay. So do you mind giving us a disclaimer before we even go ahead?
Yeah, that's very important. That's very important. Guys, just be aware that this doesn't constitute as financial advice. Please still seek professional advice from an advisor, someone who's qualified as well. That's very important. So what we're going to be talking about here is very general. So it can't be applied to everyone because everyone is different.
Makes
so
sense.
please make sure you then still see a financial advisor to talk about your own personal finances.
Yeah, no, I'm coming your way, man. Straight up.
Let's do it.
I'm coming your way,
Let's
man.
do it.
Wow. Okay. So one of the things that I want to start with today is taking your finance seriously. I mean, from where we come from, we weren't really taught about finance, the ins and outs of finance. It's only when we grow up, we're like, okay, this and that and that. When do you take your finance seriously?
Yeah.
You know.
Good question, Raymond. I think if you look at the system, how it's made. So let's take an example, right? You now start working, get your first job, you come from university or, from school, and you now start working and you're going to work every day and you realize, man, I need to get wheels,
That means you're like the vroom vroom.
Yeah, in
Vrr,
the car,
Okay.
And then you decide, hey, let me just go to a dealership because it says you have 3,000 rand per month for a car. I can afford this,
Yeah.
But then you get there and then they say to you, Raymond, we can't assist you. You don't have credit. So already in that process of you getting credit and getting a credit record, I really believe already there you should be seeking advice. Because a lot of us will end up taking clothing accounts, open credit cards and not really understand the interest rates and the financial implications. So already there, you're already starting on a back foot.
Yeah.
But also more importantly, I think budgeting. Budgeting, Raymond, is something that's really overlooked. People tend to look at their finances once they've spent their money.
Hey, bruh. Why you gonna be like that? You're talking to me. Okay.
Yeah, so a lot of people tend to look at it as a past tense, but you gotta look at it in future tense. Because I can tell you where you are gonna be in the next 5 years financially by looking at your spending habits.
Why you gonna be like that, bro? Why you gonna be like that, bro? Sheesh. Okay. Yeah.
So I think it's important. You need to draw up a solid budget. That's where you got to start because it tells the story of your behavior. If you look at it like banks and all these major financial institutions, they ask for a 3-month statement for a reason. They want to see how your relationship is with money, how you behave with money. It's important, So once you get that solid budget, and I've seen it, Raymond, a lot. I'll sit down with a client and we'll put a budget in place, and you can still see the poor mindset because the minute we align your budget and you start freeing up some money, so you start seeing some money, automatically we think surplus is for consumption.
Okay. If I may ask, So what
You want
is
me
a
to break it
surplus,
down?
bro?
You want
Break
me
it
to
down, break it down, bro. Break it down, bro.
So let's say we sit down and previously you were maybe struggling with your finances, and then we put a budget in place for you, and now you're able to at least save 2,000 Rand, right? And then from there, it's 6 months. So you would have now amassed 12,000 Rand. Automatically, a lot of people who have got bad spending habits, they see it as an opportunity to consume that. So now I've got 12,000. Now I can get that flat screen I've always wanted to get. You know? Whereas that's still a poor mindset.
Yes.
You know, whereas now actually it should be the other way. Now when you start seeing surplus, it should be now an opportunity to redirect that money into revenue generating incomes and investments.
Nice. Oh, my brother.
Yeah.
My brother.
So I think budgeting is a solid place to start. You know, it'll tell you, even you yourself, you'll look at it and be like, actually, you know what, I'm actually wasting money, you know. So I think it's a solid place to start. I think also reading, you know, not a lot of people.
We don't like reading.
Yeah. So think about it, right? And I always say this. When you got flu, who'd you go to?
Doc, of course.
The doctor, right? Okay, cool. When you want to get insurance on your car, where do you go? To insurance company, right? When you want to get fit, like you into fitness and training, you know, who do you get to assist you?
Obviously, you have to go to someone that is personal training and stuff like that,
So why is it with your finances, you go to your friend?
Wow. Okay. All right. Okay.
You understand what I'm saying?
I get you, for sure. I get you.
I mean,
Makes sense.
Tiger Woods still has a coach. Tiger Woods still has a golf coach. You know, so why is it when it comes to your finances, you don't see someone? You know, you have a braai with your friends, and then
they tell you,
and then you make decisions based on that.
Buy the verpa.
Yes, you know, or Bitcoin. Hey, Bitcoin is climbing. Let me jump onto that.
Yeah,
you know. So but I don't understand, why is it with finance you don't come and see someone?
Yeah, I've been in a situation whereby I've been asked countless times to join Bitcoin, and I haven't really decided to do it because, look, I always prefer, if I don't know something, I don't want to jump into it. I want to know more, you know, because of the mentality I've got. Because I'm for myself. If something happens, it's just me, myself, and I. So it makes me careful to jump onto certain stuff. I don't want to jump on the bandwagon. You know what I'm saying? But that's really interesting. So tell me about some of the financial traps that we get ourselves into. You know, because youngsters, we get our first job, we buy the verpa like we said, and then you can put the yellow bone or whatever they call it. What's that song? Yellow or something like that.
Yes.
You know, all those kind of things, because you want to look good and all those kind of things. You know, I think that we feel like material stuff is what we take more pleasure in than actually growing for the future. You know, and making sure that we have ways and means that those coming after us will be better off. You know. So what do you say to that?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. And I think one of the big financial traps is we don't think long term, Raymond. You know, we think very short term, and we look for instant gratification. Right. You know, that is our generation right now. You know, the microwave generation. Just pop something in and it's warm, you know.
Must be warm real quick.
So when you're looking at things very short term, it's very easy to make bad financial decisions.
Yeah.
You know, also in terms of, we don't even look, a lot of the times, if we do take out loans, we don't even look at interest, the implications of what interest you've been charged. You know, you just see it on your bank application, or you see on the banking app that, hey, I qualify for 200,000, and you want to just dive in there. So also, I find that a lot of young people don't do enough research. You know, they don't weigh their options. So, you know, I always say, you know, before you make a financial decision, make sure you've kind of done a bit more research. You've weighed your option. You know, I mean, I say, if a bank is offering you a loan, go shop around.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. I mean, I don't know about you, but I'm the type of person where I try and buy something at the best price. So I'll go from this shop to that shop. You know, if I see that shoe, I'll go to another shop just to see and try to get the best. Why don't we do that with the financial decisions that we make as well?
I think if what you're saying is very, very important, and I think we need to share more light on it, because most men, we just walk in and walk out.
Yeah.
Women have this tendency whereby they shop around.
Yeah.
So I think that really goes. I think hence they say behind every successful man there's a woman.
Yeah.
Because we just go, and the very first one we just get it and we leave. It might not be financial decisions, might not be solely on that, but some of the decisions that we make sometimes is just, we see this, that's what we want, we get it, and then we out.
Yeah.
Which is very, very also very dangerous at the same time.
Yeah.
Okay. How do we go about trying to build wealth?
Yeah.
Because the first time I try to buy something, like a property wise, like you mentioned earlier, we don't shop around. What I figured out was that different banks were offering me different rates. Yeah. And I found one that was actually very less than prime. And I went for that one. But before, when I started, it was never on the list. It was that bank was not even part of the list. And later on, but they gave me the best interest rate by just talking to an advisor when I actually got there. Yeah. So I think I fully agree with you with the idea of we need to talk to someone about our finances, because it's very, very it's very important. Our finance, our money is blood right now, man. People die and kill for money, so you got to be careful about these decisions. So let's go back to what I asked earlier. How do we build wealth?
Okay. The first thing about building wealth is changing your mindset. That's the first part, because wealth is long term, and you're looking at over a long period. Yes, we'll get these amazing people that come along once in a while who are able to amass a lot of money very quickly. But I mean, not everyone's Mark Zuckerberg,
Facts.
But most of people who are wealthy, they've done it over long term. So I normally say this to my clients and anyone who's advising you, and anyone who's you're getting advice from about building wealth, you got to have a long-term picture. So I almost look at wealth building as a pyramid, right? And that pyramid, I break it into 3 parts. Okay, so the first part is the foundation, right? And your foundation is making sure that if anything happens to you, you are okay. Yeah. So what do I mean? So let me ask you a question, right? What do you think your biggest asset is right now?
Well, I would say my property.
Your property.
Yeah.
Okay. So I have a different view on that. So your biggest asset is your ability to make money.
Interesting.
Right. That's my view.
Okay.
Because then
it does make sense.
if you can't be in a position to make money, you can't make money.
True.
So what I always say to young people is get your covers in place. People say, yeah, but I'm young, I don't need a life cover. 100%. But there's disability cover, there's critical illness cover. Disability cover will cover you in the event if you get into a car accident and you can no longer work, you're still able to get an income. Critical illness, should you get sick. So you got to put the policies in place. Think about it like this. Let's say you don't take out insurance on your car, right? And you get into an accident and you don't have savings, that puts you back into your trying to go forward. You understand? So the foundation and the ground of that pyramid is making sure your protection. So that part, I call it wealth protection.
Okay.
Right?
Wealth protection.
Wealth protection, yeah. And the second part, the middle part, is then what now we call is wealth creation. Okay. Now that's now you start getting a bit older, start becoming a bit more consistent in your money. You start now building up savings. You start now looking at retirement. You start now paying off some of your liabilities. So now what you're actually doing in that phase, so normally that phase is between your 30s to 45, Normally that phase now is that you are thinking about now starting a family and doing all these things. So you now start looking at ways of now making more money. So you're actually now creating the wealth, right? Okay. And then the top part where we all want to get to is financial freedom.
Yeah.
That's where we want to get to. But we can't get to the financial freedom without having the protection. And then having a ways to create it, and then having the freedom. Because for me, wealth, Raymond, it's time. It's having time to do the things you want to do at your time.
Damn. Please repeat that part again. Wealth is what?
Wealth for me is having time.
Oh, so wealth is time.
Yeah.
My gosh.
So
Dropping some beans here.
yeah. So for me, you got to look at it as a long-term plan. Yes, you might start a business and it might accelerate how quickly you get to that financial freedom, no doubt. But initially, when you put that plan down, you got to look at it in a long-term plan. You know, and then obviously now once you obviously want to get financial freedom, that's when your properties are paid off. That's when you don't have any debt anymore. That's when you don't want to work, you don't have to work. You know, that's
to work.
Yeah, that's when you can just go to Ghana for 6 months.
Oh my gosh, I'm gone, man.
You know, so for me, you got to look at it in that, get the foundation right.
Yeah.
Once the foundation is right, look at how you can create money and generate money.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. So one of the things I actually wanted to ask you is this whole idea of black tax.
Yeah.
You see, black tax has become a problem for a lot of people, but at the same time, some of us, the reason why we are alive and we're kicking it and we're working so hard is for us to feed our families.
Yeah.
So it makes it a bit difficult for us to say we're going to help our family. What is your take on black tax?
Yeah, so for those of you who may be watching and not understand what black tax is, it's basically an informal word for having to support your parents, father, you know, your siblings. So my view on black tax is we got to look at it where it started from, Raymond, and we can't blame our parents and we can't blame our siblings for black tax. You know, you must remember, if you operate within a system that promotes your well-being, you're gonna be financially savvy.
Yeah.
But if you operate in a system that doesn't promote your well-being, so you must remember, the previous generation to us, they're only getting access to financial instruments and starting businesses now.
Yeah, because they were deprived of those things.
100%. So that's why you'll find that in our communities, we still have to now go back, you know, so it becomes very difficult for you to move forward because you first have to sort home out. So the playing ground is not even.
It's not even, you're right.
You know, it's not fair. So generally, all of us, we have to first sort them out at home, assist at home before we can even start, you know. And the same thing about black tax as well. It's a lot of people will feel guilty about it, you know. So, but for me personally, we got to look at where it comes from, and I think if you can see where it comes from, you'll be able to make a decision
based on that.
To say, you know what, should I actually be helping my siblings? Have they been given the same access to information as me? You know, that I can be like, no, guys, you know. But also, there's a point also where you gotta also look out for yourself and start seeing where do you draw the line to say, okay, you know, when do I start putting myself first? Yeah.
Wow. Man, you said it better, man. I mean, I couldn't have even mentioned anything. You've said everything. I mean, because I've realized that this whole black tax thing, it's also because our parents never had certain opportunities that we have now, and our eyes have been opened due to also us trying to learn more. Some of them didn't even go to school because they never had that opportunity. So it's not their fault. And also, you hear most people, most people that I know, most black people that I know, rich or whatever, if you ask them, they will probably say, when I was younger, I just wanted to buy my mom a house. You get what I'm saying? So it's a tough one when it comes to this whole black tax thing. Wow, very, very interesting. So now you married, am I right?
Yeah.
You just have to put it out there. Don't try. Okay. So how do you work around finance when it comes to couples?
Okay. Important question, and I love this question. What do you think? I'm going to ask you a question, then I'm going to answer your question.
Okay, no problem.
What do you think is the biggest cause of divorce?
Finances.
You know, it's massive. So I always say, if you are, you know, getting into a serious relationship with someone, you need to know their spending habits. You need to, you know, I personally would say, you guys must sit down. I come with my 6-month bank statement. You come with your 6-month bank statement, and you see what's going on there.
Facts.
You know, because it's going to affect you.
But majority of the time we hear women, or let me say some women, I don't want to get myself into trouble, but we hear some women say that the man is the head of the house and, he's the one supposed to take care of the finance part, So that's where, let me put it this way. What do you think about that kind of take?
Yeah, I think it's very dangerous because yes, you can be a man and a female can have that belief and that's not a problem. But what happens when he is not financially responsible with his money? What then happens to the household? So I think talking about finances in the relationship is actually very crucial because you must remember once you're in a relationship and then once you get married, you need to make certain decisions before you get married. What type of marital regime are you going to have? Are you going to be married in community property? You're going to be married out of community property, with accrual or without accrual. You must know how all those things impact you. Do you understand? And you must remember, if you are married in community property and, for example, and I'm blacklisted, that affects you.
Usual.
100%. So it shows you how crucial finances are. So I normally say to clients that you got to have your budget, your partner has to have a budget, but then you got to have a budget together. So I still have clients, and it's maybe it's an ego thing. I still have male clients who don't show their women their finances, and they're just like, no, they're not supposed to know, But then what then happens if something ever happens to you where you lose your job or you lose your business or you lose your income? Now your woman has to now play the role, and imagine the surprise she's gonna have that you've been saying, I've been earning 20,000, but you've been earning 100,000. Imagine how surprised she's going to be. So I think talking about finances,
it's critical.
It's so critical within a relationship because it can make or break you guys.
Yeah. Wow. That's really interesting because you have this whole perception, and I think I was once even attacked about this thing that why am I always talking about women bringing money to the table and what are they women bringing to the table?
Yeah.
You've heard it from the experts. I mean, at the end of the day, it takes two to build something great. Yeah. And they say two heads are better than one.
Yeah.
There's a reason why they say that. And look, if you feel like you the man of the house, you're the man and you want to take care of everything, fair, that's fine. But at least let the woman also do something in the sense of what is she also bringing. Sometimes it also helps them with their self-worth. I could be wrong. Yeah. But sometimes, they feel like they're also part of the party and you don't have to just kick them out in case something happens. That's how some people feel. I've heard someone say to me that, I want to know the house we're buying. I want to contribute because I don't want you to just say I should get out of the house.
Yeah.
Those are some of the things that we hear. And at the end of the day, look, it is for the better good. That's how I see it.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, now let's talk about wills. As Dakis, some of us, we don't even have wills. We don't even know about wills. We don't. I mean, for real, like we don't even care about wills.
Yeah.
And how important wills are.
Yeah.
Tell me a bit about wills.
Yeah. So my own definition for a will is a document that speaks for you when you can no longer speak. I think there's a misconception about wills. Is that it's for wealthy people and it's for people who got a lot of money and assets, and that is completely wrong. For me, I really believe that you have already started amassing wealth. So if you got a regular job, right, and you're already contributing towards a pension or provident fund, you're already starting to build wealth. Raymond, you probably got sneakers, clothes, camera equipment. That if something happens to you, it needs to go somewhere.
Yeah.
So you're able to make those decisions. And then imagine how crucial it is if you've got now kids who are minors, who are below the age of 18, and you've got a house, car, and you pass on. Normally people say to me, if I pass on, my wife will be there. If I pass on, my husband will be there. But what happens if you both pass on in an accident? What happens to your minor kids? Who's going to make financial decisions for them? So a will is very important because it speaks for you when you can no longer speak. And then also it's a great tool to understand what you need in place to provide for your family should you no longer be there. So normally what we'll do is we'll do a an estate duty calculation to say, okay, Raymond, what are your assets? What are your liabilities? Should you die now, what do you leave your kids? What do you leave them? Right? So a lot of the times you'll see there's a shortfall, that you'll find that your liabilities are more than your assets. So should you pass on, you can't actually provide anything for your kids. So then what we're able to do is then we'll put policies and products in place to make sure that your should you pass on, your estate is liquid enough. Do you understand? And but the will now makes those decisions and then talks. So and people don't even know this. Draft the will is free.
I didn't know that.
It's free.
I didn't even know it's free.
It's free. To draft your will is free. The only expense you're going to have is when, should you pass on, the executor, which is the person you appoint to make the decisions for you, he'll take the fee, which is normally 3.25%. If he's VAT registered, it's 4.25%. Okay. Yeah. That is normally the case to wind up your estate, right? But to actually draft it, it's free. You can go to your bank right now and draft a will.
Yeah, man.
Free of charge, without a cost.
I didn't even know that. I'm not gonna lie to you. I didn't even know that. Wow, that's really, really interesting. At what point can the will be contested?
Okay, all right. So we've seen in many cases when basically the beneficiaries or the persons who are involved with the individuals feel that the details in the will are not correct, right? So let's sidetrack a little bit, right? So let's say, Raymond, you married, you got a beautiful Ghanaian wife, you guys have been married for a long time, and something happens to you.
Are you prophesying, my guy? Talk to me.
And something happens to you. And then at this meeting where we're now deciding what happens to assets, a lady that no one knows appears and says, guys, Raymond has been supporting me for the last 10 years. I have to have my share. So we have instances like that where people then who feel that maybe you had a child outside the marriage that you were maybe hiding. So when you look at your estate and we look at that, those are the things that, and then also we look at things like wills get contested if people feel that it's been forged or you've been under duress. So think about it. You now were married to your wife for a long time, and then you guys divorced and you met a younger lady, and after 3 months something happens to you, then everything goes to her. So a lot of the times people will then look to then contest contents that are in the will to see, why are the decisions being made if they feel that they've been wrongfully done.
Wow.
Yeah.
So in a nutshell, guys, stay faithful.
Yeah.
Don't go give birth to anyone out there. Stick to your wife because we don't want trouble when you're away,
And more importantly, be honest.
Yeah. Honesty is the best policy.
Be honest, especially when you're putting that stuff down in the will. Like, be honest. A lot of people lie because when you draw the will, maybe your wife's next to you. You don't want to, you don't want to get. Yeah. So you need to be honest, because also what happens is if the communication in the will is clear, winding up your estate, it becomes easier. So now think about this, right? Let's say you've got pension and a provident retirement fund, you've got all these assets, and then also then your will is not updated, so it doesn't speak to each other. So now imagine your kids, they still need to go to school, they still need to do all these things, and now they can't get a payout now because now things are not making sense. Now we're looking for this and we're looking for this information and everything. So make sure you're honest and it's clear and make things in order. And I understand, Raymond, a lot of people have a misconception or they believe once someone knows I've got a will and I've put you in my assets, they're going to kill me, So a lot of people have that fear, A lot of people have that fear to be like, that I've got a will and that you're going to get something, so you're going to take me out the game early, So people have that, but I think it's must remember that your will is safe kept. A lot of the time it's kept in a vault, and you have a copy. And yes, you can update it. Yes, you can make changes anytime, but it is kept very safe.
So Jakes, tell me about. Okay, the reason why I call him Jakes is because his nickname is Jigger. Okay.
Yeah.
So Jakes, tell me about the difference between investing and saving?
Okay, very, very good question, Raymond. And I think a lot of people, think it's the same thing, and it's two very different things, right? So let's start with saving, right? And this is my personal view as well. People might have the different opinions about it, but savings is putting money away, right? So that you can consume at a later stage.
Yeah.
Okay. Generally, I say savings, you do save to a certain point. And then from there, you need to be investing, especially if you're young, right? So I always say what I recommend, and generally industry professionals recommend, is you got to have 3 to 6 months of your salary saved.
Sure.
For a rainy day.
3 to 6 months, yeah?
Yeah, because should anything happen in terms of your income that you normally generate, so let's say you work full time and you lose that job, at least you can still go on for some time.
Yeah.
Yes, we can sit down and reduce your expenses and see how we can reduce your monthly consumption and try to get you saving more money. But you just need to have a safety net that's going to keep you going, right? So that's savings for me. It's a safety net. Because you must remember, Raymond, if you take your hard-earned money, right? Let's say you got 10,000 Rand, right? You earn 10,000 Rand, and you take 1,000 Rand and you put it in a savings, right? In a year, you save that monthly, you've got 12,000 Rand. The bank is probably going to give you 2% of that. You would have about 2% growth. That's really not much. Now, the investing mindset is very different, because when you invest, you're looking to grow your money. Think about it like this, right? Let's look at banking as a whole, right? So banking was started because I needed money and you had access money, right? So let's say a particular bank, you now take your savings and you put them at that bank. Okay? You take that 1,000 Rand and you put it in the bank, right? And then I come to the bank and say, bank, I actually need money. I want to do a project. Then they're like, okay, cool. We've got 900 Rand that you can use, but we're going to charge you for this.
Interesting.
So the bank makes a lot more interest on that than what you're going to get, right?
Yeah.
So then what's then important is that you're not really going to grow your money. You're not going to build wealth by just saving.
Yeah.
You're really not.
That's important, yeah?
So now investing is very different, because now you're looking to accelerate your money. You're looking to grow your money.
Wow. Think
about it like this. Banks are investing money. They take the same money that you put in the savings and they invest it. Why are you not investing?
That's $1 million question.
That same money that you're saving at the bank, they take that and invest it. That's why you're going to get charged penalties when you want to now early withdrawals and you take out your money early. So if you've invested in a 32-day account and you come after 3 days, you want your money, they're going to charge you penalties, because they've made plans with that money. They've gone and invested that money. Now they have to go take that money elsewhere. So now they're charging you for making them do that admin. So my question is 90% of millionaires, they are participating in property and investment stocks, right? And stocks essentially are pieces of companies. So stocks, it allows you to own a piece of a company. It can be small, but you own a piece of a company.
Yeah.
And then if that company does well and grows, you will then earn return on that. So essentially, that's what it is, right? And I get a lot of questions in terms of how to invest, where to invest. I think first and foremost, you got to read.
Yeah.
Get information. You got to get information, and also, guys, remember, this is not telling you to do this, but you got to speak to someone and speak to a professional.
Yeah.
You also, before you look at investing into a stock or into equity or anything like that, you got to do your research as well. So I personally, myself, if I buy a stock, a company, or invest in a company, I look at a few things. So I look at the competitive edge that business has, right? So competitive edge means it's very difficult for other people to compete with them.
So the game, the top gamers.
100%. So then if I'm looking at a stock, I'm looking, does it have that? Okay, cool. Does it have longevity?
Okay.
Is it going to be around for a long time?
Yeah.
I look at that as well,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So before then I buy a stock, I look at that. I try also understand the company, how it's using its money, what the future plans of it are. You know.
But how do you get those information?
So there's various places that one can go to educate themselves and learn. You know, so I don't know if I can promote sites on here or whatever the case is, but I mean, there are places that individuals can go to learn about stocks and learn and just educating yourself. I think for me, Raymond, what changed my life and kind of changed my trajectory in life is I read a book called Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Yeah, Kiyosaki.
Yeah.
Tell me about it.
Yeah. You know, so that book kind of got my mindset to start thinking about wealth and kind of start thinking about building it, you know. And for me, that book, more than anything, was about a mind shift change, you know. And then, another thing about it, investing, it's a long term. You got to think long term. You know, you got to look at a longer horizon. You know, you buy a stock and you got to think long term. You know, there's different strategies that people have with stocks, but I mean, we can get into that. But yeah, you know, you got to buy, hold, and think about the long term.
Wow, guys, there's 1,001 questions I want to ask you, but because I don't want to make this video very, very long, I'm actually gonna leave it here. But there's a lot of questions, guys. If you want to ask him any question, like I said, I'll drop his details. Please, guys. This is all about your relationship that you have with finance. Pretty much it. This is actually the topic. So I mean, guys, you know what time it is, man. Wow, my guy. I call him Jigger. You know what time it is. It's your boy. He's dropping the beans right here, guys. So if you need a financial advisor, I'll leave his details. Guys, you can definitely hit him up. I'll leave his Insta handle. Definitely hit him up, and he's gonna give you the juice. He's gonna give you the money-making schemes. You know what time it is. Go and make your own money. You know what time it is. It's your boy Kim Melanin. One more time, we want to say a big thank you to Jigga for coming on Farmboy Stock. Bro, I appreciate you for coming on.
Thank you, man.
I appreciate you, man.
Great channel, man.
Thank you, man. Love my guy. Guys, if you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe, like, comment, share, and leave your comment, man. Make sure it's juicy. The comment must be juicy, man. It must be juicy. But guys, we out. And I'll see you guys next week. You know what time it is. It's your boy Kim Melanin. We out. Poe!